So why is human resources management important? There are usually three reasons as to why this is an important thing in a company. It is a significant source of competitive advantages for a company. It is also an important strategic tool for a company. And the lastly is to improve organizational performance in a company. As such, that is why human resource management is important. Another reason is also because it is contribute to able to perform. It helps to create high performance work practices. Work practices where both individuals and organization is at a high performance, is performing highly well. That is mainly the reason why HRM is important in a company. Moving on, here we have Exhibit 12.1. This is a work practice of high performance. These are a list of things that could help define what is a high performance work practice. Moving on, we now move on to external factors that affects the HRM process. Here we have a simplified version, a chart basically, that exhibits the HRM process, Exhibit 12.2. You can see here is how the human resource management happens. Of course, this is not what we're talking about, so let's move on. So we have external factors that affect the HRM process. First thing is the economy effects on HRM. The main factors surrounding this is the fact that it affects expectations and desires. If you see the economy going up or down, you will move your expectation to that, and the company will allow you to recruit and manage your employee in a way that is suitable to that expectation, as well as improve their company. So, for example, if a person is having low expectation of their career, the company may create a job or a position you in a way that suits that expectation. Although it may not be good for you, it is good for the company as a whole. Next up, we have labor union. This is more regarding around the outside resources, outside human resources that the company want to borrow. Mainly understand. It is not much so much involved in the internal human resources of a company. And now on to legal environment of HRM. Usually there's three factors that really influence hard on the HRM process in here. We have number one is equal employment opportunity and discrimination law ruling, Exhibit 12.3. Next up we have compensation and benefits, and the last one is health and safety. Now moving on, we also have global HRM laws. This is varies between country and country, but usually there are two common representatives for a workforce. Number one is the work councils, and number two is the board representatives for a company. Finally, we have the last factor, that is the demographic trends. As you know, with different ages comes different sorts of way for people for expectations, desires, as well as skills and technical abilities. As such, different years of birth and different generation can affect hardly on what kind of workforce you can expect to have. That's all for this part. Now on to human resource planning. Human resource planning is simply the fact that you're ensuring your company has the right amount of resource in order to do what it needs to do. Now, a job analysis is a part of it. It is an assessment that defines job and the behavior necessary to perform them. Moving on, we also need a job description, a statement that describes the job and specification, the qualification a person must have to perform a given job successfully. Now, moving on to our, we also have recruitment and re-recruitment. Recruitment is simple. You ensure that you can attract the people necessary in order to help you do what you do, and the recruitment is reducing a workforce in case that it has too many or the current part of the workforce is incapable. Now on to the sources. We have Exhibit 12.4, sources on how to recruit, and we have a few sources as you can see here. Moving on, we also have sources for de-recruitment on Exhibit 12.5. Firing, layoffs, attrition, etc., etc., as you can see here. Now on to On to the next part, we have selection. Selection is pretty simple. You will all a company will always have a number of candidates to choose from. As such, you need to choose the perfect candidate that will help ensure that your company is not only running well but also running better than before. As such, we have selection screening job application to ensure that you are selecting the most suitable candidates. Usually there are 4 outcomes to a selection decision. As seen here in the example 12.6, there are 4 outcomes, 2 errors and 2 correct outcomes. As such, we must be careful in selecting what we consider a suitable applicant. Selection tools, there are a few selection tools. Number 1, we have application forms. Number 2, written tests. Number 3, performance stimulation tests. Number 4, interviews. Number 5, background investigation. And number 6, physical examinations. Those are the selection tools. Now on to the selection itself. Continuing on the selection itself, we also have realistic job review. This ensures that you are choosing the candidate with the suitable skills as well as the suitable mental capability wise to ensure that you are choosing the most successful and suitable candidate that will ensure your company is working better than ever. That is all for the human resource planning.
And hey Han, thanks for presenting the identifying and selecting competent employees part. And now Avida and who will present the part providing employees with needed skills and knowledge in chapter 12, managing human resources. And did you participate in introduction to college life when you started school? If so, you may have been told about your school's rules and some procedures. And a person starting a new job needs the same type of introduction called orientation. And there's a 2-type training, that's general and specific type. In the general, it's like communication skill, the basic skill, and in the specific, it's directly related to your work. Next is the training method. First, on-the-job training is employees learn by performing tasks, job mentoring and coaching. That's employee work with an experiential worker. Experiential exercises is employee participate in role playing and simulation. And there are some text-based training like e-learning, video conferencing, or video tabs. And now Long will present the retaining competent and high-performing employees to you guys.
Hello, I'm Long. Now we'll tell you about retaining competent, high-performing employees. A survey found that 2/3 of surveyed organizations felt they had inefficient performance management processes in place. That's scary because managers need to know whether their employees are performing their jobs efficiently and effectively. That's what a performance management system does. Skill-based system reward employees for job skills and competencies they can demonstrate. Under this type of pay system, an employee's job title doesn't define his or her pay category, skills do. Research shows these types of pay systems tend to be more successful in manufacturing organizations than in service organizations and organizations pursuing technical innovation. On the other hand, many organizations use variable systems in which individuals' compensation is contingent and performance. 90% of US organizations use some type of variable biplanes, and 81% of Canadian and Taiwanese organizations do. How do managers evaluate employees' performance? That's where the different performance appraisal methods come in. There are seven ways, as you can see in the exhibit JL10. The first one is written essay. Evaluator writes a description of employees' strengths and weaknesses, past performance, and potential provides suggestions for improvement. The advantage is simple to use, but the disadvantage is maybe better measure of evaluators' writing ability than of employees' actual performance. The next one is critical incident. Evaluator focuses on critical behaviors that separate effective and ineffective performance. The advantage is rich example behaviorally based, and the disadvantage is time-consuming, lacks quantification. The next one is graphic rating scale. Popular method that lists a set of performance factors and an incremental scale. Evaluator goes down the list and rates employees on each factor. The positive side is that it provides quantitative data, not time-consuming. But the negative side is that it doesn't provide in-depth information on job behavior. The next one is BARS, Behaviorally Anchored Rating Scale. Popular approach that combines elements from critical incident and graphic rating scale. Evaluator uses a rating scale, but items are examples of actual job behaviors. The advantage is focuses on specific and measurable job behaviors, but the disadvantage is time-consuming and difficult to develop. Multi-person comparison. Employees are rated in comparison to others in work group. This can compare employees with another one, but difficult with large number of employees' legal concerns. Then the sixth one is employees is MBO. Employees are evaluated on how well they accomplish specific goals. It can focus on goals, results oriented, but it's time consuming. The last one is 360-degree appraisal. This method utilizes feedback from supervisor, employees, and co-workers. This is thorough but time consuming. So what determines pay and benefits? Employees' tenure and performance, kind of job performance, kind of business, unionization, labor of capital-intensive, management philosophy, geographical location, company profitability, and size of company. That's all my part. Thank you.
And hey guys, Vinda is back, and it's also me who will conclude this chapter by looking at some today human resource issues, contemporary issues. First, about managing the downsizing. What is downsizing? It's planned elimination of jobs, or it can be called layoff, when companies face a recession, declining market share. During the most current economic recession, many well-known companies downsized, including Boeing, B&G, Dell, eBay, and Nokia. But how can managers manage a downsized workplace? First is treat everyone with respect, communicate openly and honestly, by informing those being let go as soon as possible. Tell surviving employees the new goals and expectations. Explain the impact of layoffs and reassign roles. The second one is sexual harassment. It's defined as way unwanted action or activity of sexual nature that explicitly or implicitly affects an individual's employment, performance, or work environment. It can occur between members of the opposite sex or the same sex. The third one is managing work-life balance. In 2009, Verizon employees contact VZ Lite, the company's employee assistance program. This program provides resources on parenting and child care, adult care, health and wellness, and so much more. So smart managers recognize that employees don't leave their families when they came to work. So in response, many organizations are offering family-friendly benefits which accommodate employees' needs for work-life balance. The final one is controlling human resource costs. First is about healthcare costs. Healthcare costs is the biggest healthcare cost for companies in USA is estimated at $155 billion a year. Is obesity and its related costs. Is it any wonders that organizations are looking for ways to control their healthcare costs? How? Yeah. First, many organizations are providing opportunities for employees to lead healthy lifestyle. Many companies are starting early, like Google, Yamaha, and others are putting healthy food in company break rooms, cafeterias, providing deliveries of fresh organic food, and putting calorie tax on fatty foods. And in the case of smokers, some companies have taken a more aggressive stance by increasing the amount smokers pay for health insurance, or by firing them if they refuse to stop smoking. And this is last but not least, this the final one. Employee pension plan costs. Is the pension commitment have become such an enormous burden that companies can no longer affect them. And thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Nam from Group 1, and today I'm gonna give you the presentation about case application of chapter 12. So let's get into case application 1, Max and Human Resource Management Challenges in China. Max, one of the world's biggest shipping line leaders, is increasingly worried about the future of a shrinking pool cheap labor in China. One problem is the availability of a qualified manager to lead operations. The company is trying to solve the problem by importing managers from overseas. This way of solving the problems is presenting challenges including control, influences, and language skills in the complicated Chinese business environment. One of the other solutions Max and other international corporations have found is to move part of their business further west, where labor costs are lower and better educated. So first question, why does human resource management represent one of the major challenges faced by foreign companies entering the Chinese market. Because the problem which are most important is a qualified manager to lead the operation in Chinese market. It is the question that whether must use the expat manager from foreign country or use a local talent manager. This comes on the top of other common problems related to human resource management in China, which all Western companies have the experience in one way or another. Talent management, organizational development, training, corporate strategy, etc. were brand new concepts in China, and why the situation is improving fast, it is still difficult to recruit good first-tier, people-oriented human resource managers. Second question, what are the main issues expat managers generally face? They are cultural conflict and language skill in complicated Chinese business environment, I think. Because Chinese is one of the hardest language to learn, and besides that, expat manager who have the solid experience of the country is such high demand, and they are normally very expensive. Move to case application 2, stopping traffic. So Ron Johnson, a former CEO of CJ company, trying to position the company for success in a very challenging and difficult industry and failed. Penny had loss of 985 million for the full fiscal year of 2012, and the company is going for the human resource management for JCPenney employees. That human resource management, that impact came in the form of a traffic light code performance appraisal system, where employees with not up to par performance is eliminated. But there are problems with this green, yellow, and red approach, including insensitiveness to approach the livelihoods of human beings and interpersonal situations. The system may never work if the company don't open about it. Employees should know that they are being rated, what the criteria are, and if they have a poor rating or not. What option they have for improving, and can protest if rating was unfair. So let's get into the first question. Many managers say that evaluating an employee's performance is one of their most difficult tasks. Why do you think they feel this way, and what can organizations and managers do to make it an effective process? So supervisors are usually the level of management who are most familiar with the employees and their work. But in a case where a supervisor may dislike an employee, the evaluation becomes a tool used against the employees. However, on the other side, if a supervisor likes an employee, they could show favor in their performance evaluation and doesn't provide a valid evaluation. It can be a poor practice for management. Question number 2. What is your impression of the color code system suggested by the former CEO? So I feel that the color code system was done badly. If the supervisor did tell their employees the ones that were in green may feel they were okay, and would let them know that who may not performing their job as what their supervisor felt they should be. By color coding them and letting all employees know, this was in no way private and had to be humiliating for those in red. Also, the ones that were not in red would have to be wondering if their color would change once the ones in red left. So second part, as a store department supervisor, how would you have approached that? So if I were a store supervisor, I feel they should have been told about this from the start, but in a private manner. I think I would have spoken with each one of the employees individually and let them know what the color coding system was and where I feel they stood in the matter. And I also would have given them helpful criticism on how they could improve their work performance. So that's the end of this chapter, and thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Long. Welcome to chapter 13. Now I will show you something about groups and group development. So, what is a group? A group is defined as two or more interacting and interdependent individuals who come together to achieve specific goals. Stages of group development. The forming stage has two phases. The first occurs as people join the group. In a formal group, people join because of some work assignment. Once they join, the second phase begins, defining the group's purpose, structure, and leadership. This phase involves a great deal of uncertainty as members test the water to determine what types of behavior are acceptable. This stage is complete when members begin to think of themselves as part of a group. The storming stage is appropriately named because of the inter-group conflict. There is conflict over who will control the group and what the group needs to be doing. During this stage, relatively clear hierarchy of leadership and agreement on the group direction emerge. The normal stage is one in which close relationships develop and the group becomes cohesive. There is now a strong sense of group identity and camaraderie. This stage is complete when the group structure solidifies and the group has assimilated a common set of expectations or norms regarding member behavior. And the fourth stage is the performance stage. The group structure is in place and accepted by group members. Their energy have moved from getting to know and understand each other to working on the group task. This is the last stage of development for permanent work groups. However, for temporary group projects, task forces, or similar groups that have a limited task to do, the final stage is adjourning. In this stage, the group prepares to disband. The group focuses on attention on wrapping up activities instead of task performance. Group members react in different ways. Some are a bit thrilled about the group's accomplishment. Others may be sad over the loss of camaraderie and friendship. This is my part. Thank you for listening.
And hello guys, so today I will continue to present the chapter 13 in the past work group performance and satisfaction. First, why are some groups more successful than others? That is the abilities of the group's members, the size of the group, the level of conflict, and the internal pressures. And we will go to some external conditions imposed on the group. That's the organization strategy, authority relationships, formal rules and regulation, availability of resources, and the performance management culture. And group member resources. The group have to have knowledge, abilities, skills, and their personality traits. How is a group structure? Members must have roles, norms. Norms is a standard or expectation from the group's members. Group think. That's when a group put pressure on an individual to think like them. Status, arrests, rating or rank. Social laughing, the tendency for individuals to work collectively. Group cohesiveness and the group size. If a small group can complete tasks faster than the largest ones, but the large groups result better in solving problems. And in decision making, the advantages is more complete information. The advantages when make decision in a group is more complete information and knowledge, a diversity of experience and perspective, increase acceptance of a solution. But the disadvantages is it takes more time to complete the task, and the dominant and vocal minority can influence hugely on the decision. And group think. In the group structure, we have to manage the conflict. In the traditional view, all conflict is bad and must be avoided. But in human relation view, it's like interactionist view. Conflict is a natural and inevitable outcome in any group, and it must be necessary for some group, for some land to develop. We will go to the part turning groups into effective teams. What is a work team? It's a group contribute to one goal. And types of teamwork. That's problem solving, self-managed, cross-functional, virtual team, and how we can contribute this teamwork to be an effective work team. The team must have clear goals, relevant skills, mutual trust, communication, leadership, commitment, negotiation, support from others. And that's all for today's presentation. Thank you for listening.
Current challenges in managing team. Before we start, you must understand what are the characteristics of today's work. Today's work mainly divided into two characteristics. Number one, they're mainly in teams, and number two, they're mainly global. As in, they're formed from various individuals around the world, mainly around the world, and have different ideologies, religions, as well as culture. As such, the challenges is currently very obvious. There are three challenges in managing teams currently now today. Group member resources in global team. To understand the characteristics of group members, group structure include the structures of the team, conformity, status, social loving, and cohesiveness. Group process, enable to capitalize on the diversity of the ideas. So on to the benefits and drawbacks. As you can see here, there are a few benefits and drawbacks. Dislike of team members, mistrust of team. These are generally related to the problem of ethnicity, race, and culture, as well as the fact is, due to that, they also have different ideas, thinking, and diversity as such also benefits to the team. On to the final point we have in here is the social network. The social network is obvious. They can be a great form of PR in order to help a company expand its influence, but at the same time it can also be a form of harsh critics that ensures that should a company or a product that fails to live up to the expectations of the public, it will not see the light of day. It will not sell at all. As such, PR is an important point when it comes to the current workforce, when it comes to the current sales and economy nowadays. If you do not have a good PR, or at least you cannot ensure that the relationship with your customer through social networks is good, you will not do well. That's all for the current challenges.
So hello everyone, I'm Nam from Group 1 and welcome to case application of chapter 13. Let's get into case application 1 far and wide. So Lonely Planet, an Australian company, has set the benchmark for providing accurate, up-to-date travel guides that have accompanied millions of travelers on their journeys worldwide. It was founded by husband and wife team Tony and Maureen Wheeler. By selling guidebooks, they afforded their editors, cartographers, and writers to work for a contract basis on individual team projects. The production of Lonely Planet's guidebook is all about teamwork. From its first simple self-published guidebook, Lonely Planet Publications has grown to become the world's largest independent guidebook publisher, and now the company is owned by BBC Worldwide. So first question, what challenges would there be to creating an effective team in an organization staffed by independent contractors, and how could managers deal with these challenges? So I think the challenges are independent contractors are not working collectively for the organization. They work in different areas and their works may not be related, and they lack of motivation and communication. Ways to deal with these challenges are making independent contractors to meet often, motivating contractors to work collectively for the benefit of the organization, taking rewards with their works. Question number 2. Why do you think teamwork is crucial to Lonely Planet's business model? So teamwork is essential because there needs to be collaboration between editors, cartographers, local or regional experts, and the business owners. There has to be a certain level of understanding between all the moving parts to form a consistent and accurate magazine that people want to buy or generate sales. To generate sales. So let's move into case application 2, 737 teaming up for takeoff. The Boeing 737 became the best-selling jet airliner in the history of aviation after half a century since it was founded. Boeing is relying on its employee innovation teams to meet the challenge and burdens of the new industry. Boeing has been using employee-generated ideas since 1990s and has been harvesting success. These employees teams are made up of 7 to 10 workers with varying backgrounds and tend to focus on a specific part of a jet. They may meet as often as once a week. The track record of this team is today it takes about 11 days for the final assembly of a 737 jet, and their near-term goal is to shave off 2 more days. first question, what type of teams do these employee teams appear to be? And explain. Problem solving team. The employee coming up with solution to problems, and although it may take years for this solution to be applied, they work together to make it happen. Cross-functional team. The case application states that the employee teams are made up of 7 to 10 workers, all with variety backgrounds and experience. Self-managed team. They meet as often as once a week. The rest of the time they work in separate teams. Once all of the sections are completed, a 737 jet has been made. Question number 2. As this story illustrated, sometimes it may take a long time for a team to reach its goal. As a manager, how would you motivate a team to keep on trying? So if I were a manager, I would motivate my team to keep trying by incentives. In addition, I would use recognition programs to ensure that the employees receive the proper recognition for all of their hard work. Another great way to motivate the team to keep on trying is by being motivating myself, letting the employees know that they are on the right track, getting in there and helping them out. So myself might be the motivation they need to keep trying. So that's the end of chapter 13. Thank you for listening.